it's Di from Di's Den and welcome to Wowza Wednesday for June. This week I'm going to show you how to make these lovely little backpacks. Aren't they so cute? This is my very first one. I did a few things a bit wonky, so I didn't finish it off by putting some bits on here, but I will finish it off because it's still usable. So that was my very first one, and it's very manly, so which is really good because that means you can put a nice gift in there for a man, and it doesn't look girly because of the fact that I use nice male kind of paper. So, but these two I've made as well. I used Pampered Pets for these two, but just because I had a little bit of paper left over, so you only need a scrap of paper, and I stamped them all over, which I was really pleased with, to give them a bit more than being just plain like this. So this is how we're going to make one, but we're going to be doing it with something that's new, the Simply Zinnias here. So I'm going to stamp this one all over, and I'm going to use the thank you so much for my little saying here, and I have my Simply Zinnia paper here, which is all the DSP you need. So it's a great way, if you've got scraps of DSP, that you can make these and give them out. They make great presents, great at craft fairs, all sorts. So, or when it gets close to Christmas, you could put a nice gift card or something in there. I think that'd be fantastic. So I'm going to pop these on one side. Let's move them if they want to go. They don't want to go. I'll just pop them over here. Oh, excuse me a moment. And I'll show you what you need, which isn't a real lot of anything. So you're going to need 1 1/4 pieces of A4 card or letter card, whichever you are using. I've got a little bit of scrap as well, so I'll just pop that on one side and we will go through what you need. So for the main pack, you'll need a piece of card that is 11 inches by 8 inches. For the pocket on the front, you'll need a piece that is 8 inches by 4 inches, and then out of your 8 and 3/4 piece of A4 card, you will get your 2 straps, which are 8 inches by 1/4 inch, so you have a smidgen left over. Okay, then for my DSP, you'll need a piece that measures 3.5 by 1 1/4, and another piece that measures 3 by 3/4. I've got a piece of scrap here, as I said, so I can put my thank you so much on it, and that, except for you're going to need a corner rounder, which I don't have a Stampin' Up one, but I've had these for years, so I didn't see the point in buying one when I had one. So you'll need that. You'll need some magnets, 4 of them, or you will need Velcro dots of similar size. Oops, right on top of that. Okay, and you'll need, if you're using magnets, you'll need a 1/2 inch circle punch just to put on the top. Anything else you'll need, whatever you're going to use for embellishing, I'm going to pop these on here, so they'll just so that they're on here so you can see where you're opening it. And you'll need a few dimensionals and some mini glue dots. So we're going to start with these 2 pieces here, and I'm going to stamp them all over. Now if you've got a pattern that you're going to stamp all over, oops, yep, I'll do that in 2 sections, that you're going to stamp all over, just make sure that when you do your scoring, if it's a directional pattern, that you have it the correct way. And so I'll show you what I mean once we get there. So I'm going to just stamp this all over. It's just stamping tone on tone, just all over my paper. Just doing this on a bit of scrap paper too. I just think it takes that plainness off. But that's an optional extra. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to. I'm going to turn this around and turn this around so that my flowers are still the same way. Okay, that's my pack part done. While I've got this here, I'm going to stamp my pocket in exactly the same manner, and it doesn't matter that at this stage I've got this upside down because I can turn this around quite easily. Oops. And while I have got this here, I might as well finish by stamping my little saying of thank you so much across the bottom of this piece of card. Right, so that way all my stamping is done now. Let's pop that out of the way. Let's pop that over on the side. Let's get rid of that piece and bring in our pieces. So we will start with our larger piece. So let me see which way up. My flowers go that way up. As you can see, that's the way they go. It doesn't really matter, but I want my flowers that way up. So I'm going to bring in my scoreboard, and I'm going to score on the long side, and I'm going to use my small ball because that's the side, because we're using card, and I'm scoring at 1.5 inches. I'm going to score at 5 1/4, 6 3/4, and 10 1/2. Now I'm going to bring in my ruler, and I'm going to pop my ruler along here, just straight. If you've buttered it up there and this is at the 5-inch mark, it will be reasonably straight, and it doesn't matter if it's out a tiny little bit anyway. And we're going to score down to that line at the 3/4 inch mark and the 6-inch mark. We're going to need that ruler again in a minute, so I'll pop that there. Now, with all these lines, so you've got your one that comes down to the 5 inches, they have to be on the right hand side if you're using the same kind of scoreboard as me. So if your score's the opposite way around, obviously it's on the opposite side. But we want it so that all these marks are the top. So we're going to be working from the bottom of the paper now, and we're going to score this at 1.5 inches and 6.5 inches. And that's all the scoring we're going to do on that piece. So while we've got the scoreboard here, I'm going to score this one as well. So I've got them all scored. So I'm going to make sure I've got my zinnias up the correct way, and I'm going to score this at 1/2 inch. I'm just reading it. 3 3/4 inch. 4 1/4 inch. And 7.5 inches. And then we're going to turn it, and at this time it doesn't really, well, it does, I suppose, if you've got a directional. So if you've got a directional, you want the top to be on your right hand side when you score this. So it's 1/2 inch, 2.5 inches, and 3 inches. So that's all the scoring we're going to do. Well, no, it's not. Fibber, fibber, fibber. I'm going to score my two little pieces, my two handles, at 1/2 inch mark. Now that's all the scoring we're going to do. So let's move those out of the way. I'll keep my score tool in my hand because we're going to score on our main card. So we're going to start with our main card. And if you look at this now, you've got this is the 1.5 inch bottom section, and you've got these 5 inch ones down the middle here. So from that 5 inch mark down to this mark here, which is the 1.5 inch on the side mark, you're going to score that up on a triangular shape from the corner and over there. Now we're not going to actually fold and burnish these lines at all. They're just there to help it. They will fall into that section. That's all the scoring we're going to do then. So we'll pop that out of the way like so. So we've got our pieces with these 2 triangles here that come down to the 5 inch mark. So we're going to start by cutting away and cutting. Oh, my scissors are a bit yucky there. Stuck together they were. So we're starting at the bottom where we've done the triangle bits. So we're going to cut the first square up to the score line. The next one, we're going to cut up to the score line on both of those, keeping everything nice and straight. This end one, we're going to cut that to the next score line, and then we're just going to notch that in a tiny little piece like so. So that is the bottom of our box. I'm going to turn it upside down now. It's just easier to do. And we're going to cut down to that score line again and just notch in on that side. Now we're going to cut down to the next score line, and we're going to turn it this way, and we're going to cut all of this away. So where we've got our notched in edge, we're going to keep this piece, and we're going to cut all of this piece away. So make sure you get it nice and even. I don't have my large scissors here, so I'm going to have to persevere with my small scissors. Like so. But we're not going to get rid of this piece because we're going to use some of this. So don't throw this larger piece away. You'll throw these little bits away, but not my larger bit. So we've now got our box like so, and we're going to just bring in our corner rounder. If we fold and burnish this score line here, I'll take those magnets off of there so that I'll pop them on my ruler. So we're going to fold and burnish, we're going to corner round the top of our box, this flap. So let me fold this one in. So I can pop that one in there too. So we've done rounded the top of our box. So now we're going to fold and burnish all the lines except for these. We don't want to fold and burnish these ones that we put in halfway. I found that you didn't need to, so I'm just not doing it. If you want to do it a little bit, because you won't need them real tight, you could just do fold and like so on both of those. Alright, got glue on my fingers. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to actually put on a piece of designer series paper. So we need the piece that measures 3.5 by 1.25. This is going to go on here. So if you've got directional pattern, make sure that you get your direction the correct way up, which is this way. So if you've got your box bag up this way, this piece will be upside down. So we're going to that's why we turn it around, so we know that we've got our piece the right way. And we're going to pop that on there like so. So I've rounded the corners on that one. So let me get my glue, which has got a bit yucky around there. doesn't want to come out very well this morning. There we go. Oops, turn him up the correct way. And we're just going to pop that onto that bit just there. Did I fall and burnish that one down? No, I didn't. So that is our main box. So now we're going to actually place glue on this section here. So and bring this one over to hold it down nice and tight. Okie dokie. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to lay this flat like this, and using our pencil we're going to mark just in this section here, in this flap at the bottom. We're going to mark along that edge there at 1/2 inch from this edge, and then we're going to fold it the other way, and we're going to fold, just go 1/2 inch from that side. They're not going to be seen, so we are going to do that like that and bring in our straps, and we're going to just fold them bits over like so at those score lines that we put in there, and we're going to pop a little bit of glue on that score line, on that tab, sorry, and we're going to place this next to our pencil mark, but so that that score line is over the top of the other score line, like so. Can you see how that is? So that score line measures up, or lines up I should say, with the other score line on our box. Now I'm doing this now because it's just easier to do it this way. Then we can then just move that out of the way, turn our box upside down, and we want that to be on the same side as our flap. So that is the same side as the flap at the top. Turn these under, tiny bit of glue on that one so they don't flap around inside. We're going to bring that one over on top, hold it down, and I'm going to pop the glue along this bottom one, which is the front part, because we want our join at the back so that it's out of the way. Okay, so we're going to bring that over. Then they look nice because they're like sewn in, as you would call it, if on a bag. So that is our bag, and we can see how that is now gone inside like this, right? Just make sure this flap goes over nicely. If it doesn't, you need to trim a tiny bit more off of there, which mine goes over really nicely. So what I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to glue these two pieces together. Oh, I forgot to tell you to give these a bit of a curl. So we'll do that now. Give them a bit of a curl. And we're going to glue these two pieces together at the top here. Just overlapping them a tiny bit. We'll just give them a good squeeze for a second. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to turn this box up this way like this, and bring it back down onto here. And this measures 3 3/4 wide. So halfway is 1 7/8 of an inch. So I'm just going to put a little mark at the top there. You can't really see it very well, just this tiny little pencil mark, which we're not going to see at all anyway. And then we're going to curl these under and put a little bit more glue onto this piece here and glue that over the top of that mark. Now I haven't got any of my pegs here, but I do have my tweezers, so I'm going to actually tweezer that together so that it can sit there and dry for a minute. While that's drying, we're going to pop that out of the way and we're going to work on our other piece, which is our 8 by 4 inches. Now you'll find that the bottom is the one with the single line, the top is the one with the 2 lines. I'm just going to pop my, oops, I'm not going to pop my pin in my glue because I've just put it on the floor. Oh, there it is, stuck in my, would you believe that's stuck in my shoe? Oh. I've got my slippers on. That's why it's stuck in them, because they're fluffy. Okay, so we're going to actually fold and burnish this one. So fold and burnish these. And you'll find that you've got a 1/2 inch mark side on both sides. So what we are going to do is we're just going to trim that side, or either side, it doesn't really matter, just by a smidgen. So just the smidgen's little bit off, because it will help it to fold a lot better. Alright, so that's, I've done it on my right hand side, it doesn't really matter, but once you fold that over, it will fold better. If you've got that little bit bigger, I found that it's really doesn't go very well. It buckles, and we don't want it to buckle. So we're going to start at the bottom section with the 1 score line. Going to cut that small one and those 2 there at the middle section, and we're going to remove this bit with a little wedge out that side, like so. We're going to do the same at this end. We're going to actually cut this down. Let me do this way. Past the first score line to the second score line. And we're going to cut that, just a wedge off of that too. Like so. Next what we're going to do is we're actually going to cut away the whole of this top piece from here. So we're going to cut down to the first score line. And we're going to cut along the first score line all the way along to that one. Oops, I didn't cut that very straight. There we go, that's a bit better. So we've still got 1 score line here and 2 on this piece. Then we're going to cut down on those 2 on that piece there, because we want to keep that, and the same on this one. So we can get rid of those bits. Our piece is like so. This is not focusing very well today. So we have, on this one, we have our flap on the right. We have 2 pieces here, the same as at the bottom, and 1 flap in here. Then we have a fold over and our top flap. So we're now going to actually move them out of the way and round the corners on this piece, this top flat piece, like so. And we're going to bring in our piece of designer series paper, and once again it's going to be the correct way up if it's that way up. So if you've got directional paper, make sure you round your corners on the correct side. And we're going to plop this, take the pin out, onto our flap. Like so. Once we've got that on there nice and neatly, get off of their pieces of paper, we're then going to fold this over and put glue onto this piece on our flap. And bring that one over like so. So our box looks like this. So we're going to pop these 2 sides in at the top, and our piece over, and our pieces come over the top like so. So just make sure that that is going to fold over nicely, which it will do. But while that's folding over nicely, we're going to do the same on this one. We're going to actually fold those two bits in. Just a tiny bit of glue on those tabs. We're going to fold in the one with the flap on it, which is the back of the box. We'll fold it, push it down and put some glue on the other one, which is the front of the box. And fold that over nicely. Then we can open this up and just give that a nice press down inside to make sure it's nice and tight. Okay, so now we're going to do our magnets. For me, I'm doing the magnets. So we can bring in our other box. Oops. And that's nicely stuck there now. So I've got my magnets. Where did I put my magnets? Here we go. I've got them here. Got 4 magnets. Let me see if I've got, make sure I've got 4 magnets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, come on, don't stick together. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring in my glue dots, my scrap piece of paper, which is what we cut off of the other one, and I'm going to punch out, I should say, 4 circles. So we haven't wasted this piece to find another bit. We can get rid of that now. And I'm going to bring in my glue dots and I'm going to pop a glue dot onto one magnet, and then I'm going to pop this into the center. Now I can do this way. I can pop this here once again and mark the center with my pencil at 1 7/8 of an inch, so I know where I'm putting my magnet. Okay, I've given that a really good press down. Now I'm going to add another glue dot. Oops, there's one up there. I didn't see that one. On here. And then I'm going to take one of these. Now I want to put the plain side because it's on the inside. And I'm going to pop it over the top. That way our magnet's not showing. So, and I'm pressing down really hard so that it goes over it. Now I'm going to pop my other magnet on top of there, like so. I will pop another glue dot. Oops. Onto my magnet. Fold my box, making sure I've got the sides in now. Fold it over and bring it down. Give it a nice squish again. Pop it open, and that's nice and tight. So I'm going to pop another glue dot on the top. And I'm going to use another piece of our circle and give that a good press down once again. And my box is closed. Look how great that closes. It's just beautiful. Alright, let's pop that piece out of the way for a minute. Let's bring in our pocket, and we're going to do exactly the same again. So we're going to get a glue dot, and I'm going to measure this one. This one measures 3 1/8, so I need it to be 1 2 4 6 8 9/16, roughly. And pop my glue dot onto my magnet, get off of there, and over that spot there. Now if you wanted to, this will fit, I don't know if it will fit a gift card in here. I don't know that it's wide enough, so I haven't got one here, so I can't check it. But if you didn't want to put a glue dot, anything on in this pocket, you could actually just glue it closed so that it will not be opened. Oops, wrong way round. Okay, got that one on there nice and tight. Pick up our other magnet, on it goes. Glue dot over the top. Fold this over. I'm going to do this all upside down because it's just easier. Open it up. Give it a good squish down. One more glue dot. So we do use quite a few glue dots on this project, but I don't use them very often, so I just thought it was a nice way. So then I'm going to pop that one over the top and once again squish it down nice and tight. There. Fold that in, fold that over, and once again it's a nice fold. So this is now going to go onto the front of here. So I'm going to open this up again because it's just easier to do this when it's open. And we're going to just smother the back with some nice glue. You could put double-sided tape if you wanted, but I actually think glue works better, and you want it so that it does go close to the edge so that it doesn't lift and somebody go, oh, that's lifting, and then pop their finger under it. Okay, I'll pop that in there. Putting it about 1/2 inch up and 1/2 inch in, or so, whatever, on each side, so that it's nice and even. Pop that in there, give it a nice squash down. If you've got something heavy that you could put in there for a few moments, like I can pop that in there on there for a few moments. Just pop that on one side while I cut this ready. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer again, and I'm going to just cut that off. Whoops. I think that needs a little bit off the bottom. Yep, that looks better. Okay, so what I'm going to do then is I'm going to actually round the corners on that, which I need my corner rounder out of here, don't I? But that's stuck nicely now, so we're going to pop that down like so, and I'm going to round the corners on this, on all 4 of them, just so that it's not so, I don't know, plain. Okay, pop that on with some dimensionals. There we go. Like so. Now it's up to you where you put it, whether you want to put it down here or in here. I'm going to put mine in here, like so. And then I've got my lovely sequins here, which I'm going to pop on some of these larger ones, so it looks like a thing on there to open it. And then I'm going to use some of these smaller ones, and I'm going to put 3 of them on there because it's nice to have an odd number. Sorry if my head was in the way then. And that's our project. Well, what do you think? I think it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a lovely gift box. This box measures, when it's finished, 5 inches high by 3 3/4 inches wide by 1 1/2 inches thick. So it's a nice size box. You can fit quite a lot in there, some sweets, how about a nice bracelet or something. I'm not sure if this would fit a gift card, and I don't have a card around here that I can see, so I can't try it for you to see, but I think it would probably fit a gift card in there if you wanted to, or if you didn't want to have that there to open, you could close that down and glue it down flat. So that's my little gift box for my Wowza Wednesday. And if you wanted to use Velcro dots, I suggest this size, which is what? These are just under 1/2 inch. So they are about, oh no, they're just 3/8 of an inch wide. 3/8 of an inch wide, those ones are. So that would be as big as I would go. But yeah, that's my box. I hope you've enjoyed it. There's my other 3. So I'll lay them down so you can actually see them all. And I've enjoyed making them. I really have. I think they're just so cute. And I do like the fact that I stamped tone on tone. It just takes that plainness off of them. And I think this was done in Poppy Parade with Poppy Parade ink. This one is Flirty Flamingo, and the same. This one I did with Retired, which is, oh my goodness, I can't remember the colour, suede, soft suede, that's it. And I made it a little bit smaller, but I thought it was just that little bit too small. So this one only measures 4.5 inches high, the same width and depth. But I thought, no, you know what, I wanted it to be that little bit bigger. So that's what I did, and I'm happy with them. So if you've enjoyed today's project, please give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment. I do read them all, and I do answer them if you leave me a comment. If you would like the written tutorial for this, will be called, let me see what it will be called, Backpack Gift Box. And it's a Wowza Wednesday project, and the same name is on the Facebook group. Then it goes live the same time, same day, everything with the same name. So if you see the video, the YouTube, and you've enjoyed it and you want to go over there and find the written tutorial for this, it will be on whatever date is on the video. It will be the same date with the same name. And I will see you next week. Bye for now.